And away we go. It is the BCJ Podcast, brought to you by the Holy Grail, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Baseball season almost here. NCAA tournament almost here. I know you're going to be there on opening day, but a lot going on downtown. Make sure when you're down there, you stop by and see our great friends at the Holy Grail, our longest running partner here at Bearcat Journal. They will get you taken care of. Great food, full bar, and of course, ice cold Cincy Light on tap, and 50 cents from every Cincy Light purchased at the Holy Grail will be donated back into the Athletes Fund at the University of Cincinnati. So not only support those that support us, support those that support maybe, getting an offensive lineman in the portal or keeping around a left tackle or a left guard or maybe a center. Who knows?
All of them.
Just know every time you get a Cincy Light at the Holy Grail, it helps out guys like our guest here to start the show today. Coach Cardwell, how the heck are you?
Well, just like you said, every little bit helps. I can tell you that. And for some of the guys that are watching that might not know it, these guys want to be here. They want to stay here. They want to be a part of what we're doing, especially, I know most offensive linemen are loyal people as is. But we've had we've got some really good players here right now, and they've had opportunities to leave for sure. And but because they love Cincinnati, they love the brotherhood, and they care about this team, they decided to stay. But every little bit helps. That is a fact.
Dave, how the heck you doing?
If I was any better, I'd be twins.
That's my line.
That's my grandpa's line. You must have stole it from him.
I mean,
but, we have Coach Cardwell. I love talking football. I love talking offensive line because it's easily the position I know the least about. And I would rather talk to him for the next 3 hours than utter one single word about basketball. I know we're not going to keep him that long, but very, very appreciative that he is going to be here with us for as long as he is willing.
It's great timing. Great timing for me to be on here. I appreciate it.
Well, here's the thing. Just full transparency.
Mm-hmm.
He was coming on whether the Bearcats won or lost today.
That's a fact. But after practice was over, we were trying our hardest to pull them through. Everybody was in here watching, screaming and yelling. It just is what it is. I don't know enough about the game of basketball, buddy.
You don't need to know a ton about the way the last 2 minutes went.
I don't know.
Well, Dave and we're going to save Coach Cardwell. We're not going to.
I appreciate you guys.
We're going to get to that later. We're going to open the show. Spring practice is underway.
Yes, sir.
I was on the radio Monday. Would have been there today, but there's a basketball game going on. I'll be there Friday, so I'm looking forward to saying hello, seeing you, and your smiling face. But we're 2 practices in.
Yep.
Have you started to get a feel for who is on your team yet?
Yeah. I think it just all this, it takes time, and we all understand what this is. Every single year is a 1-year deal. Like you got these guys for 1 year, and so you're trying to teach culture, you're trying to teach expectations. You're trying to teach standards all really, really fast. And, of course, Nico has done a great job. I know we're jumping all the way to spring ball, but for everything that we've done in this winter program, Nico's done a great job of getting these guys bigger, faster, stronger, disciplined, all of these things that you've seen. These transfer portal guys come in, their bodies have changed. Guys are moving around a whole lot better, but really getting moved into the culture of what Coach Satterfield wants. And I think that's been the big thing that we've been able to have year in and year out is a great group of guys that are culture guys, that are leadership guys. And you lose a guy like Gavin Gerhardt, and, you lose a guy like Dante Corleone, some of these guys that were leaders, and there's a void, and we're not asking guys to go be those guys. We're asking those guys to still be leaders and step up. And so they've done a great job of that in this winter program. They've worked their tails off. breaking down into crews and really attacked all the things that Coach Nico has had for them to do. And, man, it's been awesome to watch. Then you make that transition to spring practice. And it is our jobs as coaches, when those guys first get here, we talk to them, we lay down a foundation of expectations in the weight room through Nico and for this team. Then you have to carry it on into spring ball. So your next practices, all right, you are running on and off the field. We are running from group thing to group to pods, everything that we do in the practice, that's how we're doing it. And then when your rep is up, that's a full speed rep, 100%. We're not going halfway. And so having that transference from the weight room to now being on the field, and the expectations are still high. The discipline is still high. We're still holding you to a high level of accountability. It's not going to change just because we're on the football field. And so those guys getting used to, going against the new defense, going against new people. I think the first practice, I think everybody was just trying to catch a feel for it. Here we're doing things in just helmets those first couple of practices. Well, at Notre Dame and at Stanford, helmets might have meant something different than the way we have expectations, right? We're going to be in helmets. We're still going to get after it pretty good. And that's a cultural thing that these guys weren't ready for. So that first practice, they were trying to catch a feel for it. But today, talking to some of the coaches after practice, they got after it pretty good. They had a better feel for what our expectations are, what we're trying to get done. And, man, it was good to see and just excited to see the next practice and the next transition and the next part of development for these guys.
Are you used to it yet that spring now means almost an entire new team? I know last year you had the luxury of having a lot of guys back, but
yeah,
are you used to the fact that, okay, we've got these 15 practices to get on the same page instead of like we've got these 15 practices to with guys that we know?
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to remember when we got Joe Cotton last year, but I want to think it was after spring ball.
It was after
spring ball, and so we had to get him acclimated and ready to go, and he ended up being some kind of Big 12 something. I'm sure, like he had a heck of a year, but it's how fast can you get these guys going, and you're building relationships. Like those first 2 months, we're going out to eat. We're having the guys over to our houses. We're doing a bunch of different things. We had a ton of unit meetings to talk about expectations, but then to get to know these guys. We want these guys to know everybody's name. We want to know where they're from. I think it's hard to hold anybody accountable to your culture if you're not going to invest in them as a person and try to figure out who they are, where they're from. And so you have to speed it up. You have to speed up that process, and it just takes time, and it takes time and a lot of hours and a lot of commitment to where some people may say, well, it's just the off season. That's great. Call it whatever you want. But we may not be playing games or practicing as much, but we're meeting a ton and having a lot of guys talk and like have these guys come by and meet one-on-one to get to know who everybody is so that we can hold them to those expectations.
You mentioned his name. I want to start in the middle with Gavin being gone and just kind of what you and Taryn and Evan and the rest of the group kind of looked at as how we want to go about filling that spot, and just kind of take us into that and just how that has gone. I mean, I know it's very early, but how that's gone so far. Is Taryn the guy? Are you going to be kind of figuring that out over the spring? That's just an interesting development and how this is all going to play out.
As far as a player on the field, we got to do some things to figure out exactly who we want to do, but replacing him as a leader on this team, I don't think you can do. I think you're teaching these guys how to lead in their own way. And now, did Gavin give you the blueprint? Absolutely. Do I want Evan, Taryn, and Joe Cotton to be Gavin? No, I want them to be themselves in what they're doing in the leadership ways, and these other guys to be themselves as it pertains to leadership. As it pertains to playing the center position, Taryn and Evan will get a lot of those snaps. Grant Edgington is a kid who walked on. He's from Cincinnati, and he has played his tail off. And he's earned the respect from every single person on this team by the work that he's done down in that weight room. And he has the ability to be a Power 5 starting center. And so he is going to get a ton of reps there as well. So we're rotating different guys. And at the end of the day, for us, you got to have 4 centers. You got to have 4 guys that can snap, 4 guys that can make the calls, and 4 guys that can go execute it. I learned that the hard way years ago. When you have guys go down, you got to have 4 guys that can go. So we're going to rotate it through there. I think Taryn has stepped up in a big way, but I also think that Evan can step up and do it. I think I talked with Keegan and those guys the other day about, but, we're trying to figure out the right combination of the right 5 up front. And do you split up Cotton and Evan, or do you keep them together? And I think the things that we've talked about the most is keeping those 2 together. They were a great combination. They're the backside of the quarterback, and he can't see from that side. Let's have some really good strength on that left side and not break them up. But at the same time, I want to throw Edgington out there at center, and I want to put Taryn back at guard and Evan back at guard for some reps and let them do what they do. Where they're not thinking, and they're just playing fast, and they're just A-gap bullies trying to hurt people, And so that's what we want to get to sometimes. So there's going to be a little bit of a rotation. By the time we get closer, obviously, to fall and fall camp, we'll have it nailed down. But team chemistry has got a lot to do with it and how these guys operate. But every single day so far, it's only been 2 practices, we've rotated who's that guy at that center position for each one of the groups.
So, kind of same thing. I don't know what you can get into the other guard spot, but kind of the other guard spot and then right tackle.
Yep.
Kind of handicap both of those and what you guys are looking at and who's getting the reps right now.
So your interior linemen are going to be, you got Taryn Evan, Lozawicki, the younger guys that are coming along. You got the Aiden Pastorizas, you got the Zach Taylors. Those are younger guys that are starting to develop. Edgington can also jump in and play some guard as well, but I see him predominantly as a center. Lozawicki was a kid, transfer portal kid that we got out of Maine. We thought he was a tackle. And then once we got him here, we moved him around to some guard, and he was hell, boys. He was hitting people. He was punching people. He was finishing people. And he's got that Viking look to him, like he might take somebody out. He does. And but here's the deal. He can come in there and play some right tackle if we need him to as well. So he's done a great job with that. At that tackle position, I know there's a lot of people that were upset with DeAndre Buford as the year goes. And he had some penalties. He had some stuff. And I gave a lot of guys ample. There was even time in the middle of the season, Dion was like, after the second or third game, I said, Dion, you are winning in the country in the most penalties, bud. Congratulations, you're winning. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give somebody else your position, and you're going to have to earn your way back into being a starter. And throughout that week, he outplayed the next guy, and he ended up being the starter again. And I tried over and over again to put somebody else out there, and no one would take it. No one would take the spot. And so the guys that we have here that have been here that have needed to develop are Judea Milan, Nolan Latalipe, and Zach Clark. All 3 of those guys needed to develop, and they've had a great first 2 days. We haven't hit it. I mean, we hadn't put pads on yet, so there's no real contact. We'll find out then. But this offseason, you saw Judea and Nolan both take a huge step forward in leadership. Great leaders, growing up. I mean, you guys know Judea. Judea's been here for a long time, right? And he's worked his tail off, but he needed to grow up. And so with Dion leaving, there's a void, but there's also a vacuum, and all of a sudden he gets pulled into it. Now he knows, hey, I'm the dude. I got to go step up. And Nolan Latalipe sees it. I can do this. I'm going to step up. And so is Zach Clark. So those are guys, they're switching because Cotton's not doing spring ball. Those guys are switching back and forth, right and left every single week so that I can get them reps on both sides.
When you guys did your self-scout, 2025 review, what was let's look at it from both sides of of the perspective, what was one thing that you felt from the beginning of the year that you guys did really well and carried out through the season? And then what's something that when you reviewed it all, you were like, this is something that we need to take a look at, and whether it's one or two people or just the line as a collective, that we can take some strides in to make ourselves even better in 2026.
Right. I think probably most people feel this way. The pass protection was good a lot of the year, but that took everybody. Like, that takes tight ends chipping, that takes running backs chipping, it takes a quarterback who knows how to get rid of the football. It takes a lot of things. At the beginning of the year, I felt like when we got in one-on-one situations, our technique wasn't great. Our hands were not great. Our feet were not great, and it bothered me. And the thing, and I've told you guys this before, we want to win. There's no doubt about it. But we believe if we focus on the details, the technique and the fundamentals, and competing our tails off, the wins will come. And so in the course of a game, we will coach through the game. So we're going to look at the iPad. I'm going to say, Joe Cotton, you're punching with both hands. I want independent hands. I want you to do this. The slide was coming this way. How come you didn't do that? You're missing your landmark. What are you doing? And it's not ever there's times it gets heated. There's no doubt about it. It gets heated. But it's not like, what are you doing? You can't get it done. It's like, how can I keep coaching them through it? So I think throughout the season, protection was great, but I think that took a whole lot of people to do that. But I do think the technique and the fundamentals were poor, and it got better as the year went on. Communication was good all year long because you had a guy like Gavin who understood what's going on. And I think one of the special things about Joe Cotton is he's a smart kid, and he's very conscientious, and he has a little bit more of an understanding of the full picture than when maybe most tackles may see. I think that was some of the stuff that we had to work through, and but the communication was good most of the year. Coming out of it, self-scout wise, the penalties were a big thing we're hitting this off season. I told him, I said, that's just undisciplined football. Like, I get holding and competing fouls are one thing. You're battling your hind end off. That's one thing. Now, do I tell you to do that? No. But false starts, I mean, what are we doing? We can't have those kind of things to hold us back. So I think that's something we've talked about. I think, as most people have talked about and said, November, this and that. I think in the November we had more turnovers. I think there was more not taking care of the ball as much, and we've got to make sure we're making a full emphasis on that year round.
I'm sure you guys took a lot of pride in the extremely limited number of sacks you gave up this year. And like you said, there's a lot that goes into that. Receivers have to be in the right spot. Quarterback has to feel pressure, know when to deliver the ball. But just from your offensive line perspective, is there anything you teach around that? Or is it just everyone being very in tune to their individual responsibility, but also understanding what the whole unit has to do to make sure we're passing stunts off, to make sure that we're, not missing delayed blitzes or things like that? Like, what do you guys do to really hone in on being able to limit the number of sacks like you did?
Well, once again, it's everybody. Like Pete, Coach Pete does a great job with his quarterback progression, teaching them how to get rid of the ball fast and make sure he's accurate and all of that. He's done a great job with that and all the help. Much like anybody in any industry, if you want to be great, every offseason, you better go meet with somebody that's doing something at a high level. And every single year, we have gone and met with a different team. We've met with a different NFL team. We've met with a different college football team. Now, not everything is going to apply to us. Not everything works in our system, but the stuff that does work, we're going to take and use it. And so we've gone and found what we think is one of the better systems in protecting the quarterback, whether it's using your hands, your feet, all your hand protection, your feet work, all that stuff, footwork. We feel like we've got a really good system right now that we have found, and that we have used from other people, and we continue to get better every single year. But I think it's that commitment to getting better is why it produced what it produced. Hoping that we can produce that again this year would be great, but we're not focused on the outcomes as much as it is, let's get Joe Cotton better at this. Let's get Evan better at this. Let's get Latalipe, Judea. Let's get Lozo. Let's get Grant Edgington. What are the things that you guys need to focus on, and being self-aware on what you have, right? Some of these guys don't have long arms. If you don't have long arms, you have to attack a defender a completely different way than if you do have long arms. So we have those conversations with the guys so that they have a plan when it's pass protection time on what I'm going to do so that I can protect the quarterback, but also how I can protect somebody from getting their hands on me. So I think that the biggest changes that we've made has just been our commitment to trying to get better every year by visiting other teams that are doing it very well at a high level.
Chad, you got one?
Yeah.
Or you want me to just keep going?
No, you're cooking. So I'm look, this thing right here is not going to stop tonight.
Yeah, I hear you.
It is not going to stop tonight. So I'm letting you cook while I'm.
Well, you cook, because you sound like you're cooking. You're getting cooked as well.
Oh, we did our live show right after the game, and I think I got like 46 messages in the hour that we were doing the live show. Like, it just, I had to turn it off. Joe Cotton, how much more is there for him to grow? Because he has the size, the length, the measurables. From everything I've seen being around Joe, he has the mindset to do it. I think maybe there was still a lot of clay to mold when he got here.
Yes.
How much closer to that ceiling is he?
Yep.
And how much more is there still to go?
One of the ways that we approach recruiting is through the lens of development. And so we created a cut up of Joe Cotton at South Dakota and Joe Cotton in his first game against Nebraska, and then Joe Cotton as the year went on. And there's a huge difference in his pass sets, his hands, and his run blocking. I think we got to get him a little bit more fluid in some of his backside cutoffs and running off the football. I think there's some hand placement stuff that we got to work on with him, just being more consistent at that. But I think he's a stud, and I think he can play this game for a very, very long time. And there was a lot of tackles that we tried to get that first round in the portal that we didn't get. And I thank God every day that we didn't get them, because we got the right one. You look at what he did compared to 5 guys that we tried to get before that went to other schools. It's not even close. It's not even close of how good he did compared to them. Some of those guys didn't even get a chance to play, so we got lucky on some of this, and I'll take luck. I think when you treat people the right way, you end up getting a little bit more luck.
I'm a huge fan of Evan. I've known about him since high school. His team played one of my best friend's teams, and my buddy's the D-line coach, so we had talks about him for a long time. I think he has a chance to be one of, if not the best guards in the country. What is the next level for him going into this season?
Well, I'll tell you, I tell these guys a lot. You're the best in the country. Like I don't want them to step out there and not. Like there's a level of humility and hard work that you got to be at, and we're going to make sure that you're there. But if we're on the sideline and we're talking, I will tell them you are the best. Like y'all, the two best guards in the country. Be the best guards in the country. That's what you need to be today. Evan's a stud. I think what Evan has done here is impressive, but I think this next year is going to be even better. I think he's just now getting to his own. He's starting to figure out some different things. He has a level of confidence, which is great. And you got to have it, but he's a guy that a lot of people tried to get to leave the University of Cincinnati, and to his credit and credit to his parents and the kind of people that they are, He's like, I want to be loyal to Cincinnati. I want to be loyal to this place. This is where I want to be. He believes, and I believe it too, that we are developing him as he can see with some of these other guys that we've developed for the next level, because that's his dreams, goals, and aspirations to be that. We've got a great culture here, and we've got a lot of great stuff. But at the end of the day, he made some really hard decisions to stay and be a Bearcat. And he's not just staying to be a Bearcat just to say I was a Bearcat. He's showing up every day to put in that work and to help fill that void that left whenever Gavin left as far as leadership goes. But continuing to work out some of his techniques and fundamentals, just where your hand placement, your feet, all of that stuff. We've developed some different drills in the last couple of days that we've just picked up from some NFL teams because we're trying to prepare all our guys for the next level. But the sky's the limit for him. He walks with a great amount of confidence, but he still has to have reps. You know, no matter how much confidence you have, you've got to continue to build reps and build reps and build reps at this thing so that you can play better, you know, and so you get a good feel for it. And so him being a leader, him developing, I'm excited to see what he does this year for sure.
You can't say it, but I can. There was a lot of bullshit that went on at the end, and Evan stayed true to Cincinnati.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
And he probably left a considerable amount of zeros on the table.
Right. There's no doubt about it. And you know, I've talked with his parents, and they're incredible people. But they believe, and I believe as well, the importance of leaving a legacy. You know, there's times where you can go cash out, and that's great. And I see that. I see people, you know, make those kinds of decisions. But who are the guys that you're going to remember? You remember the people that made the most sacrifice. Those are the people that you remember. And so, you know, that's the kind of sacrifices that he made. And we're excited he's here, and that's what he did. But he decided he wanted to leave his legacy here at Cincinnati. And like I said, that's a true testament to his parents and the way they raised him, and an awesome family at that.
I feel like from a very amateur O-line watching standpoint, you've done a really incredible job of identifying talent and then also developing it from the high school level, because the limited stuff that I've watched, whether it be a spring practice or getting ready for the season, I watched some of the really, really young guys, and while we know they're not ready to go play in a Big 12 game, they certainly don't look out of place. And I won't name any names to single anybody's particularly out, but what is it is there a couple things that you're always looking for when you're looking at high school kids that, because it feels like everybody that comes in, yes, they might not be ready, but it's not the way UC football used to be, where it's taking 6'4", 260-pound offensive linemen / tight ends even at one point, and really having to do a total development. It's become much more of this guy, we know he's not ready to play, but he is very, very close, and we just need to develop him. And then you've done a great job of developing them. So is there something, one or two things you're always looking for that it feels like maybe gives you a little bit of an edge when you're bringing guys in from the high school level?
Yeah, I think, first of all, you know, I can't take full credit for all that stuff. Zach Grant and Carter Wilson, who's now at South Florida, and Peter Abrams, who took his place here. That whole recruiting staff over there are top of the line. I mean, when you think about support staff that you have here, Aaron Himmler is one of the best in the country. Nico Palizade is one of the best in the country. Zach Grant, one of the best in the country. These guys do a tremendous job. I mean, I cannot take it. And they identify them, and we've got certain, you know, there's a certain length, hand size, arm length. There's certain things we want to see on film. These guys do a great job. At the end of the draft this year, every Big 12 offensive lineman that gets drafted or gets picked up by an NFL team, they will go as a staff and sit down and watch their high school film. They'll watch what they look like on their junior year film to see what attributes they had and how does that transition to the NFL. Like, to me, that's next level stuff, you know? And so they help find those guys. We talk all of that. But when it comes to the size, yes, we want to see the length, the arms, all of that. But we got to get on the phone, and they've got to love football. We've brought some guys up here or they've come unofficially. And they said, I asked them, like, do you like football? You love it? Well, I'm learning the football. I'm learning to love football. I really love basketball. And that conversation is done for me. I'll sit there and I'll talk with you and be cordial. But if you don't love this, if you don't love football, you're not going to make it. You're not going to do it. And so how do you figure that out? Like in all of February, when we do recruiting, we're doing Zooms. So I'm doing Zooms with offensive linemen, and we're talking ball, and I'm watching their film. And he's going to tell me, hey, yeah, this is the call for inside zone to the left. And this was the ID. This is where we're working to. Oh, I remember this play. This kid was talking junk, and I finished him. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. If I'm asking you questions about your film, you're like, I don't really know what we called that. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many like red flags to me that's like, all right, he really doesn't love football. Because if we can get that size and we can get you here and you love football, they'll make it for themselves. We'll give you the tools, but they'll start developing themselves because they're obsessed with it. We've got a young kid, Luke Collins, who played at Gahanna. I mean, he is every day asking, what can I learn? What can I do? I'll watch my film. Like earlier today, he's like, are you still in the office? I'm like, yes, you can come by and ask a question. And they had three, Judean, Zach Clark, and Aiden Pastoriza just walked by like, yeah, we just got done watching practice. Well, practice was earlier today at 3:00, and they stayed up here and wanted to watch. Like, they love football. If you don't love it, then we don't want it. But it takes offensive linemen a ton of time. And that's why I'm never in a hurry to say, well, after his sophomore year, you can't play. Like I don't want to be. I'm not that guy. I don't know if you can play. I mean, there's some things I can see along the way, and then all of a sudden, this kid is an All-American or he's all Big 12 because we have a system of development on what we believe has worked, and we have seen work over and over again. So that kind of shines the light a little bit on the kind of recruiting side and the development side.
For the young guys, I don't know who is there already. Chad might know, but how has that group done? And maybe even some of the redshirt freshmen that maybe are stepping in, maybe might look at them in the two deep this year. But the guys you have there that are brand new, and then maybe the redshirt freshmen, is anybody taking a big step or starting to step up in their game?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, first of all, the way that this the structure of college football is now, a lot of places have an O-line coach, and then they have like a QC or an assistant O-line coach with them, which helps a whole lot. So the whole month of January, while I'm gone, these young guys and even some of our older guys are meeting with David Flores, who does a tremendous job with them. So much of a good job that we ran some team in spring ball, and I put a kid out there that hadn't had any kind of real reps, and he went the right way every single time. And I know that sounds simple, just to go the right way was hard, And so kudos to him for the investment that he makes and working with our young guys. But Luke Collins is a young guy that just got here, freshman. Austin Hone, Luke Grover, and Zappatelli as well. A lot of those are four young guys that have come in, working through them and getting some reps. Some of the young guys that are a little bit older, maybe redshirt freshmen. You got Marcus McGregor, who's doing well. Zach Taylor, who's doing well. Different guys like that have been here and just been working that are starting to pop right now. And they need all 15 of these spring practices. They still need another summer. And then we start getting into fall camp and things start to make a little bit more sense to them.
I think we got a good question here.
Yep.
Can you speak to the adjustments that have to be made anytime there's a QB change from Will and Cincy?
Yeah. I think some of the changes, a quarterback change, like he's probably saying overall, not in the middle of the game, right? Like overall.
Right, overall.
Yeah. It's the same as us as coaches. We got to get them around each other. Like we took the whole offense out to go bowling, and we made sure we paired up different people. We got to get everybody around the quarterbacks, like get around each other, spend time together, be in those kind of relationships. We're watching film. We're having people talk. We're on that field. And we really encourage our guys to hang out off the field. So on the weekends, if y'all boys are doing something, do it together. Coach Pete and I, when we first, took over as the coordinator situation or the coordinator position, we ended up meeting with every single offensive player one-on-one, me and him. And we said, okay, who are you hanging out with? You need to be hanging out with somebody, even these transfer portal guys. But building that team chemistry. But there's a lot of conversations that go into that quarterback change. Like, he needs to know protections. He needs to know run game. He needs to know all the communication that comes from him to the offensive line. You know, all the signals, who the ID is, who we're IDing, who he's supposed to be working to. I think all of that stuff is critical. And just like I talked about earlier, it's a 1-year deal. You got to go get within 1 year. You've got to get all this stuff talked. But the thing is, the transfer portal guys, they came here to play ball, so they get it, and we're only trying to recruit guys. They get it. They want to play ball. So they're constantly in here asking questions.
Were you happy, upset, fighting to get anyone in the portal this year, or were you just I'm good, you guys can allocate resources elsewhere?
That's a great question. There was a certain thing that we were looking for. There was a certain particular, there was a price point, there was a position, and there was a years that we were trying to hit. And either one of the three didn't pop like we were wanting to, but we also knew we weren't in a hurry to do that. We knew that we needed to make a sizable investment on the defensive side of the ball, in the wide receiver room, in the running back room, and at quarterback. And so for me, there's different things that we wanted, and there's certain price points, but I also get the fact, y'all tell me if that's who I got, I'll go give me 5 guys that want to go out there and whip ass, and we'll find a way to make it work. Like, whatever it is, that's kind of been like the thought process. But there was a price point, there was a position, one thing that we were trying to find. We didn't get it, but we knew we could live without it, right? I knew we would be fine without it, but there were certain we were trying to get. So upset, no. Fine. I was happy to have the guys stay that were staying. I was like, oh, praise God, these guys are staying, So I was happy with that. And, as much as some of these players got offered a lot to leave, we still took care of them here now. Like, they're still being taken care of here as well. You know what I mean?
Nobody stayed for free.
No, sir. No, sir. No,
they might like Skyline, but they don't like it that much.
They might have left some stuff on the table, but they got some way more than what they were getting before, which they deserve because they played their tails off last year.
With your promotion to co-offensive coordinator, does that take me into like the run game specifically, where your involvement is on the run game? Are things going to look pretty much the same? Or are there wrinkles that will now change? Do you have more of a responsibility as I know you're a run game coordinator, get thrown around a lot of time. Offensive line coaches have that title as well. But, just from a running standpoint, because how interwoven that is with offensive line play, is anything noticeable changing there, or is it just new running backs and we're still going to see a very, very similar style of run?
Right. Well, we have first of all, there's different ways that everybody structures their staff, and throughout the years, it has been like, Nick, you've got the run game. So you're going to work with the tight ends, the running back coach, the tight end coach, the running back coach, and you will design the run game. And, Pete's done the pass game. And so throughout the years, that's what's been happening for the past 2 or 3 years. And now it's more of, okay, now you guys have the title, but you're also running these unit meetings, and you get the opportunity to kind of speak to some positions where, to be honest with you, a lot of people in this industry, or at least we do, we try to honor every position. So if I'm just the O-line coach and you're the wide receiver coach, I'm not going to come tell you how to handle your wide receivers, but if there's a coordinator title, I'm going to say, all right, listen, can we make sure the wide receivers are doing this? Then you can have a little bit of that kind of conversation. Does that make sense? So those change a little bit. The run game, much like the pass game, every year we're trying to get some different wrinkles from different teams every year. So we're going to go see who some of the best were in the country at running the football, and see if their wrinkle matches our personnel. I think we were top 5 in the country in yards per carry. So there's some things we want to change, but there's also some things we don't want to change as well. And what we're finding out right now in spring practice is, okay, who are these running backs? What can they do, right? Who are, we all know who Gavin Grover is, and we all know who Zahersky is. They do a great job. You got some different guys in there, Lavielle, and some young guys in there in the tight end room. So it's going to be similar, but there is going to be wrinkles every single week that we add in there, just so you're not predictable. You can't be predictable. You got to have something else in here left and right. And so our run game, if you looked at our run game in 2023 when we first got here, well, we were top 5 in the country in rushing. Well, we had to run the quarterback a lot, right? We had Emory, so we ended up running him a little bit more. And it was a whole lot of pistol, outside zone. We did that again in 24 a little bit, but you were able to do some play action shots. Well, then we transitioned a little bit more to offset runs and some more counter. And then I think we ran a ton of power against Kansas on the goal line, some gap scheme stuff. And then throughout the year, we added wrinkles, some power, some different stuff throughout the year last year. So we really mixed it up. There's a big mixed bag last year of what we did. And so we want to continue on to do some of that this year, but add little wrinkles here and there.
I don't know if does Cotton have long arms for measurements?
Cotton does have very, very long arms. I think you're looking for us, I don't know exactly what it is, but we're looking for 33. If you're looking for guys in the NFL, you're looking for 33. If you have less than 33, it's tough. You better learn something. You better have something special. But he's got broad shoulders, long arms. He is a massive human being when you get up close to him. Yes. And when he moves. He's got a punch. He's got great balance. Just like that.
When I move, you move.
Yes, I knew you were going there. He does. He's got long arms, and so does Taryn. And he's been playing interior, I
guess I don't have much else, but I will ask, because you do have, Gavin is pursuing is he pursuing the NFL? Is he gonna? I assume so. What has kind of been the feedback from? I know you guys probably have pro day here coming up soon. What's been kind of the feedback from scouts and
these people
things along those lines for him?
Yeah, they're trying to steal him. They want him. They're trying to. This is a heavy center class. I mean, if you looked at the combine, usually there's not that many centers. This is a heavy center class, and don't know if he'll be drafted. But if he's not, realistically, you don't want to be drafted if you're below like the 4th or 5th round, because then you got to go somewhere and you may not want to go there. If you go undrafted after that, you get to choose where you want to go, and sometimes the bonuses are a little bit better, right? So you'll have a bunch of different coaches call it. Well, what ends up happening is you get NFL coaches calling me to say, hey, if he goes undrafted, we want him. Will you help us get him here, or help us get, so you have some of that stuff going on. And he is, he's Zoom calling, he's phone calling, he's got interviews, he's meeting with a lot of different people. He's a tremendous leader. He's a tremendous player. There's a ton of centers coming out in this draft. And so I'm sure he'll land somewhere. He's one of those guys that can play 10 years in the NFL, and just be one of those guys. So, and here's the deal. If he doesn't, he'll be a great coach. He's going to be a great coach. But I mean, he's a true Cincinnati guy. And man, he's a legend in my mind, for sure. One of the best I've ever been around, one of the best leaders I've ever seen, one of the most stable people. Man, I hope he gets everything he ever wants out of life, because he's committed to it every single day.
Finally, what was that conversation with you and Pete when it was like, all right, Now we got to share an office. Like we got bunk beds, like stepbrothers.
Yeah. Me and Pete have been around each other for 10 years. Pete I think he was maybe my GA at some point, or we worked together. I was a QC and maybe he was a GA. We all worked together. There's like, we've worked together for a long, and we're such like, and we argue. I mean, like anybody else, you're going to have arguments and discussions, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, not who is right, what is best for the team. And so we're fired up. I can't, it's everything. We're doing everything, whatever. Meeting with the guys, all that stuff. And man, I love it. It's whatever it takes to go win and put a great product on the field and have an explosive offense. And I was telling somebody the other day, it might have been Stipe. I was like, we're super fired up. And the best part is you get to do it with Pete and you get to do it with Coach Satterfield. It's awesome. And so you're doing everything that you can so that you can execute at a high level. And so, that's what it is. I don't think any of us are nervous or like anxious or anything like that. We are just super excited about going and getting it. It's fun week in or day in and day out working with these guys, talking with every position group, seeing how they're feeling, seeing how they're doing, and just watching guys learn how to play together. Just watching how everything just fits together, communication, all of that stuff. And that's an awesome thing, man. And that's why I love football. That's why I love football. That's why I love coaching, is seeing a team come together and try to execute and compete at a high level. And so, and to get to do that with your buddies, to get to do that with people you've been around for. I've known Coach Satterfield for 20 years, known Coach Pete for 10. I've probably known Coach Woody for 10 years. To be around these kind of guys and be able to do it is a special thing. That's for sure.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right, we'll go home.
Well, now Nick and I can leave the chat and you can talk basketball with the heathens.
I already did that. It's time for you to talk basketball.
Can't wait.
Coach, you want to stay and talk some basketball?
Baseball team's killing it. Coach is
That's right
now.
Somehow not ranked. Trying to figure that one out.
Appreciate you guys. Hey, listen, I really do appreciate y'all's support. I know you guys probably try to stay right down the middle as much as possible, but we appreciate your guys.
Are you familiar with my work?
He's familiar with my work. I stay as straight down the middle as possible. Dave.
It's hard, man.
Dave lives on the edges.
It's hard because then if you don't say something negative, then you're a homer or whatever it may be.
I don't ever want to be accused of carrying water for anybody.
It's hard, man. It's a hard position that you guys are in. But
hey,
you signed up for it, guys. So did I.
We didn't say anything bad about you last year.
Give us some time, guys. Give us some time. Let us give up a few sacks in one game, and it'll be, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, you set quite a high bar. Now this year, if you eclipse that number halfway through the year, everybody's going to what happened to this offensive line guy that was so great last year?
Well, it was Gavin Gearhart. He left.
I'll tell you already. Guy wasn't ready to be an OC. Like a good offensive line coach.
He couldn't do it. That's right. That's right. Whenever things are going well, it's the players. They did it right.
Yes.
Gavin Gearhart and these boys got it right. When things go wrong, it's all on us. It's us.
So the offensive coordinator for the previous coach here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Mike or not, but Mike and I are still good. Denbrock are still good friends to this day.
Mm.
So Mike was in the worst spot, right? Luke was untouchable,
right?
Because they were winning big, and Marcus was the golden boy.
Got you.
So nobody complained about those two.
Yeah.
So Denbrock caught all the heat, even though if you go back and look at the numbers, they had like 3 of the 5 best offenses in program history.
Right.
Like
they were the reason that y'all didn't win at all.
Right. Well, they got to yell at somebody. So Denbrock. So then I used to boo him when I'd see him walking off the field, just to let him know, keep him grounded.
Got to keep him grounded.
Let him know that the fans, he was the guy catching the heat. And then he leaves, and the first year he's gone, he has the Heisman winner at LSU. Then he leaves LSU, goes back to Notre Dame. The second year he's gone, he's got Notre Dame in the national championship. And I had to remind people, maybe you were wrong. Maybe that guy might have been a really good offensive coordinator.
He might have been good. Yeah, you're right about it.
What'd you think about seeing all the Bearcats build mansions this week?
I'm so excited for those guys. I'm happy for them. I mean, they've earned it. Yeah. They've earned it. They've went out there and they've worked. They've worked for it. I mean, it's huge for our program. Gets the Bearcat name out there. But those guys individually put in that work over and over again. And y'all had all of those guys on one team.
Yeah, I had 9 draft picks in the 2021 draft.
Studs.
I mean, we're 300 million between Sauce, Kobe, Alec, and AP.
Yeah, I mean, super, because all those guys, I think most of those guys have come back, and we've seen them around here. They come here to the spring game. Like my son's got a Sauce signature. I mean, even the Kelsey brothers came back and did their podcast. Like those guys come back. And it's awesome. And it's awesome for them to be around our players. But kudos to them. They earned it.
Wait, I don't know if you've met Cook or not yet, but I assume I
haven't had a chance to meet him yet.
He'll be around a lot. I don't know how much you know about his story. He went to Mount Healthy. Nobody. I've asked people that covered Mount Healthy games when he was there. When he transferred here, I'm like, can you tell me anything about? He's like, I don't remember him. His only offer was Howard.
Yeah.
Went to Howard, played 2 years there, came back here, sat out a year as a transfer, which never happens. Played behind 2 NFL guys, Derek Forrest and James Wiggins, and then finally got his chance and became the guy. Like that guy has done nothing but work. They're all 4 of those guys are great.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that we're trying to teach these guys is it's just the details. Be obsessed with the work, the details, and the process, and the wins will come. The wins will come. That's the things we're trying to get through these guys. But kudos to them. That's what it is. Going to work and being self-made sounds like he is.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you, man. We will. I'll see you Friday.
You guys enjoy it.
All right, man.
See you, bud.
Best luck. See ya. There you go. I love that guy.
I love talking to him. I like talking to all the coaches. I mean, there's not been a one that I'm like, that wasn't very good. That wasn't very insightful or whatever. They're very gracious. It's certainly not something you see many other places. So we are super appreciative of their willingness to come on our show and take my silly questions.
They love talking ball with Dave. Talking ball with Dave, brought to you by, do we have a Titleist or
Winston Lights?
The basketball team's got you back on Winston Lights, huh?
No. I need something way harder than cigarettes for the basketball team.
Brought to you by Story in Hyde Park.
Do an ad read so I can go get a drink.
All right. That segment was brought to you by Turtles Brew, 6% ABV, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free. It's bourbon-infused sweet tea. And cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla, lemonade tea, strawberry mint. There's more than 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati, over 100 around the state of Ohio. If you'd like to find out where you can find a Turtles Brew nearest you, all you got to do, go to turtlesbrew.com for information and the locations nearest you. Remember, a portion of the proceeds go to Save the Sea Turtles. 66-65.
Can I interrupt you real quick? Before we get into the game.
If I said no, would you still interrupt me?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. No.
Oh, okay.
before we get into the game and what the game means and everything, I know you guys talked about, especially after the TCU game, how so many teams on the bubble lost and like it was right there for UC. I'm not sure if you're aware of what's happening today.
Everybody's losing again.
Everybody's losing again. Indiana lost to Northwestern
for the second time.
Ole Miss is beating Texas. Florida State destroyed Cal. And we lose again. I don't. It's hard to put it all into words.
I mean, look, TCU. We probably didn't give them enough credit for as well as they were playing at the end of the year.
No, I'm not even saying we should have won that game. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just like, it is not. There's nothing negative about going to TCU and losing on senior day in a game that they didn't have it. They didn't play well. They didn't like whatever TCU's style of play, the physicality TCU plays with was a problem for Cincinnati. Jamie Dixon still essentially has a Big East team, like 6'7", 6'8", big guys, 245 pounds. Like, there's no knock on a coach for going there and losing that game. Today, Dave, I got a couple things.
Okay.
The slash line for UCF in a win is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. UCF shot 33.8% from the floor.
And that was well under 30% until the very end in overtime.
Yes. TCU shot 12.5% from three. 3 of 24. 12.5%. UCF shot 56.5% from the free throw line. They slashed 33, 12, 56. They only made 25 baskets. They only had 10 assists. It's unfathomable to allow that to happen in a game that essentially your tournament life rests on, your potential head coaching career rests on. Like, at that, but like, I'm at a loss for words that they actually lost a game where UCF played like shit for essentially the entire game. Cincinnati's up 8 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and they lose. It's unfucking believable, but as I said in the aftermath, totally fucking believable.
Yeah, I got to see, I don't know, I think pretty much the whole second half and then overtime. I don't even know if I really want to rehash the end of the game. There were so many moments, individual plays where you just, I don't know, maybe you throw your hands up, maybe you yell an expletive, maybe you laugh. I think I laughed more than anything. Just so many things where I'm just like, these are 3-year, 4-year, 5-year players. This is a head coach that's been a head coach for 10 plus years. And
15 years.
And these are the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not good for content purposes, but it's like, if that's what we're doing, I don't care. Like, you have to, where do you go from here? If, is the question, because that game, like, I know the plus minuses are what they are, and it's not necessarily an equal 1-to-1 to just say, well, this guy's plus minus was so bad, blah blah blah. But would they have won if Bob Miller just didn't play?
I mean, probably not, but I get your point.
Probably not, because that means other people would have had to play more minutes and things of that nature and whatnot. But you look at his game today, and you just go,
it's the worst game he played all year.
It's one of the worst games I've ever seen someone who fancies themselves as a really good basketball player and a vital basketball player to your team's success play.
Yeah.
Not just his worst game of the year. Find me someone who has played as well as he has played the majority of this season, who then literally just turns around and can't shoot, can't rebound, turns the ball over at least 7 times.
Rebounded fine. It's the one thing that he did well was rebound. Yeah, he had 9.
Turn the ball. Did he turn the ball? Was it a 1-to-1 rebound to turnover ratio?
9-7. So
9-7.
1.2-1.
Another technical. One of the most boneheaded plays at the end there, when you have plenty of time. I don't know the exact situation. I don't know if it was tied. Were they winning? They were losing. But I'm not sure exactly. But just one on whatever at the rim, miss, like a play that you would get mad at a 7-year-old or 8-year-old for doing.
Yeah.
And so you have that.
I mean, the technical, they had a perfect shot on it. You're going to get a technical call on that every time.
I did not see that. So
I mean, he told Tony Padilla he relayed my season-long string of messages to Tony Padilla with like 2 words. He was teed up immediately. Like, it was the easiest technical you could ever give.
Yeah.
Especially to that guy. You got to know that guy's just looking for a reason to give somebody one. It was so dumb. Like, just everything about all of it, Dave, was so dumb. I got something else for you. UCF started out overtime really well. Stillwell gets a jumper. Bowl makes 2 free throws. Stillwell makes another close-in shot. 3 minutes and 2 seconds remain in overtime when UCF scored their last field goal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like they were just streaming to the free throw line. They had 1 trip to the free throw line in the final 3 minutes of the game. They made both with 1:58 left in overtime. That was the last time UCF scored in the game. Last field goal, 3:02. They scored 2 points the rest of the way on a field goal or 2 free throws with a minute left. Cincinnati did not score in the final minute 46 of the game. The crazy part, Dave, how many shots do you think they took in the last minute 45 of the game?
UC?
Yeah.
Well, I know Celestine had the one at the end.
Yep.
I'm going to say 3.
The Celestine shot was the only shot that got off in the last minute and 45 seconds of the game, of overtime. They were up 8. You give up an offensive rebound, put back, cut it to 6, turnover, layup, 4, turnover, layup, 2, turnover, layup.
Oh, I thought you meant overtime.
That was regulation.
Oh, so in overtime, they didn't take any shots?
They got I was talking about overtime. I went back to regulation to say how bad regulation was.
Yeah.
And then in the last minute 45 of overtime, with your season on the line, The only shot that you took was the missed 3 by Celestine with 3 seconds left. 1 minute, 45 seconds of clock. You got the ball on the rim fucking once. UCF did not score. I don't know how that's mathematically possible. But I'll give you the end. Day made 2 free throws with 2:17 left to go up 8.
Yeah.
Turnover, 10-second call, turnover, miss by Baba with 53 seconds left, and then the miss from Day Thomas with 0.8 of a second on the clock. So in the final 2 minutes of regulation, they took 2 shots, and in the final minute 45 of overtime, they took 1.
I mean, honestly, let's look at it though. They took 3 shots in that whole span. One was
4 turnovers, 3 shots.
One was the one that I just talked about that, you know, you would yell at a 7th grader for taking. The other one was essentially a 28-foot heave with 0.8 seconds left in the game. And the last one was Celestine scrambling. So not only did they only take 3 shots, they took 3, not all terrible shots, because Day shot wasn't terrible because he just had to shoot it. But they took 3 of maybe the lowest percentage shots they took the entire game were the 3 shots that they took in those moments.
Season on the line. And 3 timeouts in regulation.
I don't even want to get in on that, man. I don't even want to. Because,
did you hear why?
I heard one reason why. That's part of the reason why I don't really want to get in on it.
He didn't want Johnny Dawkins to sub.
What were you, were they bringing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the game?
On defense.
Okay.
He didn't want them to make a defense. Were they was Dennis Rodman and Gary Payton checking in? There's nobody on that fucking UCF team that I'm like, man, that guy is just
Thank God that guy. I can't possibly call timeout now. They might put Michael Jordan in the game. He's going to lock up Baba Miller.
Here's the other thing, Leroy. I don't think Jizzle heard me yelling pass on that 10-second. If they didn't call 10 seconds, he still turned it over. He threw it to UCF. When they called the 10 seconds, he was letting the pass go, and he threw it away. So even if they somehow got that pass off and avoided the 10 seconds, it was a turnover.
You know how you said in October that I need to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
You didn't need to say it in October. You could have just waited till the last 2 fucking minutes of this game. And you wouldn't have had to watch any of the 32 previous games. If you just watched the end of this game in overtime, you could have said, yep, we're done here.
Yeah. And I still can't say with confidence that we are.
And that is disgusting.
Now that's
not you. It's not your fault that you the fact that you can't say anything definitively is disgusting.
And maybe it is decided. I don't know. It might be. I don't know whether it is or not.
No,
is
we
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. Well, a lot of these things you can get a read. Like when Tuberville's thing got to the end.
Well, yeah. They were terrible. There were 4,000 people at that Memphis game.
Go to hell, get a job.
There was a lot of evidence on one side of the ledger.
Yeah,
pointing you in a certain direction. There was a lot of evidence on one side of the ledger pointing you in a certain direction, but I don't make this call. I feel like a broken record. And it doesn't matter. It might not matter because there's certain people that it doesn't matter to, that are way more important than me, that are way more important than you, than anybody in this chat probably. But if a move is not made, the explanation that will follow it will be hilarious at best and incredibly insulting at worst. And,
I mean, it is what it is, right? If he stays, it's because the money wants him to stay. There can't be.
Right, that's what it is, but that is not what will be said. And so that's why I'm saying, but that's why I'm saying the explanation will be hilarious at best and insulting at worst.
But here's the thing. And I'm fully at this conclusion. I'm not hemming and hawing and hedging anymore because now I know what it looks like, right? That was what I said from the start. Need to see what it looks like. Now that I know what it looks like, there is nothing that will be said or done that will appease the fan base if he's kept.
No.
There's nothing.
Because, honestly, there's nothing that could be said.
Right. I mean, let's hypothetically, if they won today and the
way things are trending, if they won today, they might not have even had to beat fucking Arizona to make the tournament.
If they won today and let's say they lost by 8 to Arizona tomorrow, like they played them tough. Arizona's up 5 to 10 points the entire game, but they played them. They didn't get blown. It didn't look like fucking Iowa State and
Arizona State
today.
Win by 50.
You could have looked the fan base in the eye and said, I feel like the program turned the corner over the last month and a half. And I feel like the team responded. And I feel like, Wes Miller, it might have took him longer than we wanted, but we feel like Wes Miller has figured something out down the stretch of this season, enough to give him another year. We're not going to extend him. We're not raising buyouts. We're not, pushing him out to 2032, but we feel he earned one more year to show that he's got this thing on track.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there would have been people that would have been pissed, but I think most everybody would have went, okay, at least I understand. At least I get where you're coming from. The buyout next year on April 1st drops to $1 million. The guy did win whatever. If you'd have added today and with a win instead of a loss, won 8 of 10 down the stretch. There was a lot of things that could have happened that would have allowed you to sell this to the fan base. What couldn't happen is what happened.
Yeah. Well, even the 8 out of 10 thing, to me, that reminds me of especially with the Reds, because they have a much longer year, when someone will be like, the Reds have won 17 out of their last 28 in June. And I'm like, great. They still stink. They still played all the games in April and May. It's like, okay, we can just pick out certain segments of a season or even multiple seasons and point to that, and I can go, yeah, but what about all the other shit that sucked? That's not who they are. That was a 1 month run of 5 years.
Yeah, I would say if that were the case, I would say the argument back would have been they weren't squeaking out wins. They played exceptionally well over that stretch to end the season. They played
the best basketball they've played in his 5 years and still will not make the tournament in a year that I tweeted this.
Dave,
I tweeted this in my personal. No,
I'm not saying to keep him.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying all those things considered. I tweeted this out over my personal account. The Evan, I don't even know how you pronounce his last name. That does all the basketball analytics and stuff.
Yeah.
The three worst, in his regard and whatever.
I strongly disagree with he's trying.
Three of the worst bubble years are within the last 5.
I just don't like the metric that he used to do it.
Just basing it on like how good the top is.
Yeah, but well, guess what? The top is better than it's ever been because of the transfer portal and a couple awesome freshman classes.
Either way, I mean, we're talking about some teams that.
But the bubble's bad. UCF's bad. UCF played like dog shit today.
Auburn is maybe going to make the tournament. They're 16-14 right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't like the.
No, but so they played the best basketball they've played since he has been the coach here. Yeah. In a year that the bubble is terrible, and they're not really even going to sniff it now.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be like, oh, maybe if this team loses, blah, blah, blah. No, not even close. I mean, you just watch the end of that game. You watch some of the sequences. You watch the deer in the headlights, the not calling timeout when your team is turning it over, the not calling it timeout with 23 seconds left in regulation when the game is tied and you have the ball. I mean, I know some coaches like to wait till their guy gets across half court to call timeout. Whatever. Call timeout. Set up something. Set up something. I know we're not like
stand there and dribble.
This highly diabolical offensive team, but like set something up. And then the same thing in overtime. Less time, but call a damn timeout. We're just going to let the team who has struggled so much of the year running offense, we're just going to let them play it out. And we saw exactly what happens when you do that.
Yeah.
Which, holy shit, what a surprise. That's what happened. Stunner that they couldn't figure out something to do when you just let them play it out.
Jizzo was just standing there. Wes is screaming timeout with 4 seconds left, and they hadn't even started any action to really make a play. And you get 0.8 of a second.
Yeah. And yet, they ran a very good play in that moment. Now, Day was probably a little too far out, and there was only 0.8 of a second left. But, like, they got a clean look. Why couldn't you call that timeout with 20 seconds left and set something like that up, right? Like that.
I honestly think, Dave, it's because there's no confidence that you can a coach that knows like his bread and butter is sideline out of bounds, 20 seconds left in the game. I'm going to call something, draw something up, and we're going to get a great shot, calls that timeout. A coach that doubts himself doesn't call that timeout.
That's what I'm saying, though. The play they did run, he didn't make the shot, but, like, it worked.
Well, I think UCF was also just, we're not going to let you throw the ball to the rim.
Yeah, they were backed off a little bit, but okay,
if you're going to take a 28-footer.
Run that play or a play similar to that. And, I know people would say, well, you can't shoot it early because you can't give UCF a chance. At that point in the game, after you've blown an 8-point lead with 2 minutes to go, I'm taking any bucket I can get. I don't care how much time's left on the clock. We're good on defense. If they tie it or win it, so be it. But we've just given up an 8-point lead. I'm not turning down points because we scored too early in that situation.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I don't see a path to winning the fan base back, and they have to know that. It's dead. It's dead.
There's no way.
The fan base's belief in this coach.
I don't say this as like, I just say this jokingly, kind of, but somewhat seriously, and not as a threat at all. If they bring him back, I'm going to have to reevaluate where I'm at with Bearcat Journal, because I cannot talk about this basketball program for a whole nother however many months. If that's the case. Like I would have to be faking it. And I'm just not going to do that over and over and over again. I'm not going to spend my time, my dollars, doing something like that I'm so against, that brings no joy. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be us just cutting it up and talking about sports and having a good time. I would not enjoy any of that. So why would I subject myself to it? Like, you're literally going to hand me a spoon, not you, figuratively, hand me a spoonful of you-know-what and be like, keep eating it. You're gonna keep talking about this. We're gonna pretend to give a shit about transfer portal guys and non-conference schedules and get out of here. I don't care. They're outside of Wake Forest, who has no pedigree or fan engagement or interest on the basketball program that even comes close to matching the level of UC. Is there another Power 5 team that would allow a coach to come back for a sixth year in this situation? Maybe there's a couple, but like I said, they're more like Wake Forest than they are UC.
Joe, can you type that again in English? I have no idea what you're trying to say.
So, there's no... Who else around the country, in your estimation, that's on the level of UC, that has won championships, that has won league titles, that has a very mediocre average season, and 10,000 plus fans are still coming to the games? Which other school would have these 5 years and be like, yeah, we're going to do a sixth? Pittsburgh has... Matt, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh, you're remembering Pittsburgh, Jamie Dixon, Big East days. They are not like that anymore.
No. Well, I mean, they're trying to find the money to fire Jeff Capel. I don't know if they're going to be able to. I mean, I've heard they have the money.
19 million?
It's way, I mean, I don't think it's that much, but the total cost of firing him, firing the staff, cleaning house, I think is somewhere in the 20 million range. But my source says they have the money to do it if they want to.
Yeah.
And look, I don't even think, at least now, it would change in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. If I told you Cincinnati's going to make a coaching change, they're going to finish somewhere between 6th and 8th the next couple of years, I think everybody would take it.
Yeah.
They tied for 8th this year, and that is when Cunningham was on your podcast, he didn't seem pleased with the results. He wasn't.
It was prior the last month. I mean, he said it was unacceptable. I was not on the show, but I know what he said. And that's my thing, is if a change isn't made and he comes on our show, my first question will be, there seems to be a divide between what is are acceptable expectations from the administration and the university versus what is acceptable expectations from the greater good of the fan base. Not everybody, but the greater good. Please lay out to us, what are the expectations of the basketball program? Because if not making the tournament for 5 years and getting a sixth year doesn't necessitate a change, then you cannot tell me that your expectations are to win championships.
Right.
You would be lying.
There's 68 teams in the field.
You can't be one of them over 5 years?
The Big 12's going to get 8. Half of the conference is going to get in. Right now, you're not in a position to be Arizona or Houston or Texas Tech or Kansas.
You can't be TCU or UCF?
Right. You can't be BYU.
I'm not asking to be Arizona. I'm just asking to make the tournament.
Yeah.
Make the tournament. You had a $10 million-ish roster. Make the tournament.
I think everybody was actually okay with make the first 4. Go to Dayton and play on Tuesday.
And I don't even like the first 4. I don't even think, you and I have had this debate. I don't even think that counts as making the tournament.
You got to win on
you got to
Tuesday
be
or
like
Wednesday.
Thursday. You got to be the Thursday 12-15 game for me to count you as making the tournament.
Thursday at 12:10 is when
that's when the tournament starts.
Yeah.
If the first 4 games, if picking the first 4 games doesn't count for your bracket, then that's not considered making the tournament.
But everybody, I think, was okay with it. Get to Dayton, play Miami.
Yes, because at least at that point, we know teams have gone on runs in the first 4. You can win a first 4 game and then win a first round game. Like, once you make the tournament, it's about matchups. It's about players getting hot. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into who wins a couple games in the tournament. But no, I can't sit here.
Look, I'm just going to say, the money people matter. The people that are funding the program at the highest level matter more than anybody else.
Can we get
but
them
it
on
is
the pod?
also, huh?
Can we get them on the pod?
Probably not. But it is also the job of the athletic director to say to those people, it's time for a change. And to get those people behind him. That's part of the job. If you feel like it's time for a change, you can't let somebody, because of their donation level, overrule your decision. I can't say for sure John Cunningham has decided or that thinks it's best fire Wes Miller. I don't know. But I'm saying it's reasonable to have the belief that if your job is athletic director and your job is hiring and firing coaches, then you also have to be able to manage the boosters and the money and have the understanding with them that ultimately this is my job. And if I screw this up because you want it screwed up, your job's not on the line. My job's on the line. My $750,000 job is on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I joke about them because I went to school at one of them, but like SEC donors and boosters, they'll fire you for give you the money to fire someone for any myriad of reasons. But you know what they always do? Whoever, whether they love the guy or not, they always support the next guy. Their donation level is because they give a crap about the program or the university, not because it's tied to who the coach is personally and what kind of relationship I've developed with him personally. I'm sure over the years, SEC schools, there's been plenty of coaches in football back in the day, basketball now, like, who did not like the fact that their coach, their friend, got fired. But I'm pretty confident in saying that they got over that real quick because God forbid, we sink lower than our rival or we become an afterthought because I'm not supporting this program at the level that I was just because, my guy got let go.
And if you hire the right guy, that void will be filled.
Yeah.
Because people will want to be around and be close. Like I've talked about the money. And it's not a conversation I love having because it's not my money. Like Dave, I will say this. Your stance on I don't tell people how to spend their money also holds true for people that have a shit ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
So if that person is like, look, I've got $3 to $4 million to give to Cincinnati basketball. And that $3 to $4 million now has to go to $10 million to buy out both your coach and hire the next coach. And now you're going to come back to me and say, I need another $3-4 million because we used that $3-4 million for this. Now we need it. And I say, no, that's my prerogative. And John Cunningham has to make his decisions with that knowledge in mind. You have to have those conversations. I'm going to need the money for this. I'm going to need extra money for that. He has more information than we have. So I'm not in a position to say he has to do this or he has to do that, because I don't know how all of that works. What I know, as somebody that deals with the fan base more than anybody deals with the fan base, there's nobody, including everybody in that building, maybe the ticket office deals with the fan base more than us. What'd you think?
Maybe.
That's about it. Nobody deals with the fan base as much as we do. They're not coming back. They're not coming back.
That's the thing. Is like this year there was incredible support because the fan base was able to differentiate who they felt garnered a higher percentage of the blame. They made it very clear that we are here to support the players because the players are playing very hard. The players are doing things that we feel proud of. The players are putting this, and the coaches didn't have zero impact on it. I'm not going to say it was 100% one side, 0% the other. But it was pretty clear that in most cases, in most schools, if a season went like this, fans would have tuned out. Fans would have stopped coming. That was not the case. I mean, the crowds were, I would go as far as to say, excellent. Here's the difference, though. If they bring him back next year, the fans are not going to take that same tact.
Well, here's just what I think would happen. The lower bowl is always going to be full because, for the most part, those people have spent a lot of time and money to get themselves in position to have those seats. The people that do leave the lower bowl, those seats will get gobbled up fast because those tickets are an investment.
They're coveted. You want to hold on to those. It's not necessarily this season wasn't good. You know, my mom and aunt have dealt with it. Every year it's like, we are paying a lot of money for these seats and they're not producing. Is this an investment we want to keep making? And they keep making it.
You also don't get those back.
No.
If you let those go, you make a decision, I'm not renewing my 100 level seats that I've had in my family for 20 years, whatever. You're not getting those back. There's not going to be an opportunity let's say hypothetically, next year, Wes comes back, he gets fired next year. You don't get to, at this time next year, call the ticket office and go, hey, section 112, row 6, seats 8 and 9, I'm going to need those back because I gave them up last year, but now I'm back in. Those are going to be gone. Those seats will always be full. This year, you still would look up, even when this team was 11-12 and 3-7 in the Big 12. You still looked up in the corners, and there were people. You still looked around the arena, and the place was pretty damn full. I had my problems with the fan base during the Louisville game downtown, but home attendance, home crowd, the number of people, 10,000 people pretty much every game. Sure, they didn't sell out. You're going to get some of that because they weren't, like, you're not going to attract the casual fan at a level that you do when you're winning. But if you bring him back, that upper deck's not going to be, it's going to look like when Mick was here those first 4 years. And there were announced 5,000 people.
5, 6, 7,000, yeah.
7,000 people. Like, that's coming back because there's a lot of people in the 200s.
And you'll see those in those bye game, non-conference games. You will see a lot of empty seats in the lower bowl because those fans just won't come.
Right, but the point being, those 200 level seats, those aren't an investment.
No, it's like
on that level,
$25, $50. You know, you're not.
Well, Dave, those seats, if I give up my 200 level seats this year,
Oh, you can pick out
next
different
year,
ones next year. Yeah.
I decide I want to come back, I'm not going to have any problem getting 200 level seats next year. If I decide they made a coaching change, I'm going to renew my tickets. So while the big money does do a lot of heavy lifting, how much are you going to lose? How much are you okay with your season ticket sales dropping? How much are you willing to bank? Because guess what an AD's job is judged on? How many butts are in the seats? How engaged is the fan base? If you lose the fan base, let's say you're looking at 28,000 people for football games, and you're looking at 7,000 people for basketball games. That is where the AD starts to feel a little heat, right?
Yeah, because you have to look at sponsorship dollars. They brought that in-house.
Yeah.
How many companies want to sponsor a program that fans are disgruntled with?
How much are they willing to pay? It just, I get the college sports divide. We have talked about it ad nauseum on this show for fucking 10 years now, Dave. The big boosters cut the checks, and the big boosters have a lot to say, and they should. And they should in part because the college sports industrial complex has forced us into that position. Instead of paying for players out of their own pocket, instead of paying for scholarships out of their own pocket, instead of building shiny new fancy buildings out of their own pocket, they have gone to the donors. They have asked the donors to finance and fund all of these things. You mean you think those people are just doing it for shits and giggles? They're going to want their voice heard, right? That's common sense. That's logic. If I'm donating $3, $4, $5, $10 million a year to UC Athletics, I'm letting you use my private jet. Whatever million things you can come up with. Yeah, I'm going to want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's the athletic director's job to make the call. Period.
Should be interesting.
It's, they're in Kansas City until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. What do they see in Wes? Look, Matt, that's not hard. Everybody that knows Wes likes him. He's good with people. That's why he's a good recruiter. Like, you shouldn't be shocked when somebody that has the reputation as a good recruiter and isn't a slimy asshole that other people like them. They want to see him do well. They've invested. It's the other thing. They've invested a lot of time and money into the guy. What's that?
No, I'm just saying he's given, I'm going to assume he's given some of them some pretty outstanding access.
Yes.
That they don't want to have to work on with a new coach.
You know what we don't like about coaching changes? We have to start completely over. We're not in that world, but it's not all that different, Dave.
No. We always wonder, are they going to help us by saying, like, this is how it's done? Or is that coach going to be like, I don't care how it's done. I'm not letting them come watch a full practice football. And I'm not having my coaches come on their podcast.
The thing that we always talk about, and I'll pull the curtain back a little bit here. The thing that we always talk about with this, we tell you guys all the time, we get a level of access between the website and this podcast network that I would guess there's maybe, you could count the number of places like us that get the type of access that we get on one hand, and I don't think you'd need all the fingers. you probably definitely wouldn't need the thumb. And we have always talked about, is this going to be the guy that comes in and does it like everybody else? That says, no, you can't come to practice. You can't come to spring practice. You can't come to camp. Like, you should see the look on people's faces when we tell them, like, the access we get for fall camp. Like, what do you mean you get every practice? What do you mean you get every minute of every practice and you're allowed to take notes and there's video you can shoot and you get interviews every day? We worry every time that the next guy that comes in is going to take that away. And it's going to significantly change the level of coverage and content and access that we provide. The big donors have that same type of concern. Now, is it a little different? Yes. Why? Because they are donating millions of dollars to the program. So do you really think the coach, I mean, there are coaches that are like this, but do you really think the coach is going to be like, I'm just going to take your money and treat you like shit?
Yeah, the AD is going to go, hey, this is John. You should, be cordial to John. He's a big help for you.
He's a big swinging dick at the Cracker Factory.
Like, he has your best interest in mind.
So that's just an insight somewhat into where that mindset is.
Tuberville was
Tuberville
great.
like the
We went on, I don't know how many golf cart rides Chad and I went on talking about anything but football with Tuberville.
Tuberville would come over during practice. Like when they break off into like position groups, Tuberville would walk off of the field and come over and stand and talk with us for an hour in the middle of practice. And then at the end of practice, when they would like go and, go back into team drills, he would saunter back out to midfield and stand there and watch. But shit, I've never talked to a coach more in my life than we talked to Tommy Tuberville.
I mean, the one that we were the most worried about was Luke, just because he was coming from Ohio State.
Yeah.
And we got to the point where I remember there was a summer camp, a high school recruitment type summer camp, and he's at the 50-yard line, and you and I just walked out on the 50-yard line and just started talking to him.
Yeah. That happens nowhere.
Like, one, they probably
Literally
don't even let a site like us attend a camp on campus, and two, they certainly aren't letting us walk out on the field and talk to the head coach.
Yeah, if they let us be there, it's like, you guys stand over there. That's it.
Just watch. You can't talk to anybody.
We don't have a section. Like when we go to a practice, we get to walk we don't get to go on the field at practice, but we get to walk the entire, perimeter, wherever we want to go, wherever we want to stand, whatever we want to watch, whatever notes we want to take. Like, yeah, we're terrified that at some point in time, the coach is going to change and the SID's not going to have our back. And that's it. You're out. Like now we operate like every other team site in the country. That's what donors are afraid of. That is, that their access is going to change, that their connection with the coach isn't going to materialize if a new coach comes in. They know that they have a great relationship with this coach, and they don't want to find out. People don't like change. Old people especially don't like change because they've gone through a bunch of change in their life. And they're probably, on the back nine. They might be on the back three. Like, I don't necessarily want to do this. So whether you agree with it or not.
18. They're putting out on 18 for a double.
Whether you agree with it or not, that's why there are people that are hesitant to pull the trigger on something like this. But it is the athletic director's job to get everybody on board if the athletic director decides that they're going to do it again.
Yeah,
they're going to run it
right
back.
Move for the program. Have trust in me that I will bring in another coach that you feel comfortable with. And, yes, it's their responsibility.
Mick was a big help with BCJ for Wes. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've told this story here. Introductory press conference. I walked up, introduced myself. Chad Brendel, Bearcat Journal. He said, "I know who you are." That's usually not a good thing. But I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yeah, I was on the phone with Mick for an hour last night. He told me you were the guy." Said, "Whatever I need here, Chad will help you out." So yeah, that's why we build the relationships we build. If you guys want to know why, when you're like, "I demand you say this guy needs to be fired," I don't burn bridges. Why do I not burn bridges? Because I don't know when the old coach that I had a great relationship with might be able to help me with the new coach. It might be 10 years from now. It might be 15 years from now. But I don't burn those relationships because I know how this all works. I know how small the college football and college basketball coaching world is. And if word gets around, that the team site guy for that place, the media guy for that place, a fucking asshole.
He's gonna hammer you as soon as things start going bad.
Yeah. Then you guys don't get the content that you get. Do you want that? For the sake of having me on record saying this guy needs to be fired in January? I don't think you do. I think you guys like the access that you get. What was BK like? I was
BK begrudgingly went along.
Yeah.
I think it was because this was his first, like, air quotes, big job.
Yeah.
And then once he got out of here, he probably shut it all down. But I mean, the strength coach long ago once. I mean, I wasn't affiliated with Bearcat Journal. This was because my grandpa was still. I got kicked out of the locker room at halftime one time because the strength coach didn't know who I was, and he tossed me out. But yeah, I think BK just kind of like begrudgingly went along with things. Probably wasn't high on his list of things to be involved with.
Yeah. The 10th game, Dave. The fifth game this year, Cincinnati lost with a 10-plus point lead at some point in time. 5 times this team has had a 10-point lead and lost the games.
I mean, we could just keep. There's a new stat you could come up with, probably for the next hour.
Yeah.
That would, want me to scratch my eyeballs out.
Daniel, we haven't heard from Dan Simon for a while. Have you heard from Dan for a while?
I mean, the conference realignment world is very low key. It's very much below Dan Simon's level. He's not concerned about who's joining some of these, poor conferences. He only concerns himself with the big dogs.
Yeah.
So he's probably in Vegas right now because there's a lot of college basketball conference tournaments in Vegas.
A lot of movers and shakers.
Yep. His thoughts on the Big 12 basketball glass court would probably be that it looks cool, but maybe go back to just a regular floor. Feels like it's not a huge hit with the players, according to an article in The Athletic today.
That was the Kansas State guy.
Kansas State and Arizona State guys both.
Yeah. They didn't have good things to say.
Slippery, gave him some headaches.
Slippery when dry, some might say.
Yeah, hard to distinguish the lines on the court when you're in various places on the floor.
When's the latest the decision will be made? I mean, I guess April 1st. But if it's made April 1st, you think Dave After Dark is bad.
If it's made April 1st, it just adds to the litany of terribly timed coaching changes that this university has undertaken on their own accord, not because anybody forced them to.
Well, the other ones weren't on their own accord. This one would be. This one would be if they waited. You have a chance to be one of the best jobs in the cycle. If you have decided that Wes Miller is not the guy and you wait until April 1st to save yourself some dollars, or you weren't able to negotiate a lower deal to get closer to the 4.5?
Yeah, you can't wait to save $5 million.
No. I appreciate you, Thrifty Hippopotamus. We appreciate all you guys. We have a very loyal, awesome, amazing audience. It gets frustrating because when things aren't great, people aren't as apt to listen. I don't blame them.
No.
If things aren't great, what you want to come to listen? I mean, I guess some of you do come to listen to Dave, throw a fit every now and then. But
I have my loyals.
You do. But
yeah, I'm sharing I'm speaking their thoughts.
Right. And look, I didn't mean to get into like an us thing here, but I was using that as an example of people are like, why do donors not see it the way we see it? Because they have relationships that you don't. They have time and investment that you don't. They are in a different position than the regular fan.
Yeah.
And that's college sports now.
Believe me. I think about this probably way too much. If I came across an obscene amount of money, I would use it to yield significant power at either the University of Cincinnati or the University of Tennessee. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
We
need some baseball. You don't want that from Dave and I. I pay attention.
You have a show for that.
We have a show. If you don't know, Thursday nights, 8:30, we have a baseball show. They talk about the baseball Bearcats. We know that it was an important thing. The numbers have been very good on that show through the first 2 episodes. It helps that they're playing great. But it wasn't to toot our horn. It was more to explain, like, access is at times power. And if you're not certain, or you're like, hey, I don't want where I'm at, the relationships I have to change is difficult. And if it's my money and you're asking me to change and I don't want to, it's my money. That's the job an AD has.
And I want it now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call JG Wentworth.
Oh boy. All right. I think I'm pretty good. How about you? I think I've said all that I.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really else. There's not really much else to say until we either have a definitive answer or we just hear nothing and we just continue on.
I mean, I will say, I will be surprised if we don't know the way that this is going to go by at the latest Monday morning. I am not of the belief that you wait until Sunday to see what happens in the NCAA tournament.
See what happens.
Everybody's losing. So maybe the committee goes, you know what? They were a different team without Jizzle James. They went 12-12 after he came back, or 13-12 or whatever it was after he came back.
So they were one game over 500 when he came back. Let's fire our finger guns and get all excited about that.
I don't necessarily have a great answer for that. I know if I was going to be doing something, you guys would know by like tomorrow evening or Friday. It would be out there, whatever my decision was. I could see it going until Sunday or Monday. If it goes past Monday, I
didn't even know that Arizona State had officially fired Bobby Hurley, and I saw their thank you, Coach Hurley tweet. I'm like, is that how they let everybody know that they fired him?
I would say it's below 50%, but not significantly below. I would have gone into today saying if they lost to UCF, 55% he's gone, 45% he's back. after what happened, like I'd probably move it to 60-40 just because of the way that it happened.
And I got a whole page of notes that may never see the light of day. We shall see.
When I know, post the meme of the white Pope smoke. No, that's what happens when they're announcing a new Pope. Isn't the black smoke when like the Pope dies?
No, I don't think I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to weigh.
I was raised. I don't know.
I don't know about the black smoke part, but yes, the white smoke is when a new Pope has been selected. So I'm sure we can come, but probably, and this is just the thing, someone like a Borzello or Goodman will probably have it if a change is made. We'll very likely have it before we do.
I'll be trying. Yeah, black smoke is when a vote didn't pass. Yeah.
Okay.
Black smoke is when they voted, but no new Pope has been elected.
Didn't get enough votes.
Yeah. The new guy didn't get enough votes. White smoke is when a new Pope has been elected. So maybe the white smoke is like when I hear...
Maybe we'll know, but the way things typically go is the national guys get stuff first because they're tied in with agents. And then we have to do the confirming through UC sources or other sources, but so...
I know an agent or two. I'm gonna try.
I'm just saying, typically that's the way it goes. I mean,
and football for sure. Like I'm not getting a scoop in football. In basketball, things have gone pretty well for me in the basketball world. So at least I got a shot. It's not a great shot, but at least I got a shot on the basketball side to know coming back, not coming back. Truly will have it, probably. I mean, they'll all probably have it at exactly the same time. Is generally how that goes, because the person that finds out texts the 3 or 4 national people that they're closest to, and then it all disseminates from there. But I can tell you this, if it does happen, we'll be ready. Tonk, did we talk about Wes's comments saying we're one of the best teams and deserve to be in the tournament? Not sure what to think about that. What else is he gonna say? Like, people put way too much on post game. Like, sometimes
there are a few things that he said today that I'm like, threw up the "please stop talking" meme, which he seems to venture into that realm a little too often. But like, vouching for his team, I don't have any fault. And like, I would absolutely be up there going, look at the way we've played over the last month. You're telling me that this team going forward is not a tournament team, is not better than some of these other teams that are in a similar situation than us? Totally cool with that. The things about like, I didn't call a timeout because I didn't want them to sub, or some of the other comments he had, those were, not great. But hyping up his team, totally fine with that. I would expect him to do that. I would expect any coach to do that.
It just came out funny. I'm just saying, Tonk. Like, what else? What do you think he's gonna say? That was it. Sorry, guys. That was it. I know.
See you at the Crown.
We've really played great the last couple weeks, but we had to win today, and we didn't. So for the committee, I know you guys are hanging around and talking about teams tonight. Just go ahead and take us off the list. Did anybody hear Terry's post game? I heard about it. I didn't hear it. I mean, it sounded like Terry was pretty upset and that he didn't understand what was happening in the final 2 minutes of regulation and what was happening in the final 2 minutes of overtime. And Joe,
wasn't alone.
You've been here. I think you were here for the aftermath, and you were here for this show. And guess what? We didn't understand either. Goodman alluded to he had to win today after speaking to Cunningham yesterday. If you think Cunningham told Jeff Goodman he had to win today to keep his job, with the way John keeps a lid on things.
There could be some inferring in those comments, but
Or there could be my interpretation of
right. Yeah.
John Cunningham being non-committal.
I don't know what I didn't read. I don't know.
Look,
Jeff write an article or something, or
I think it was on their podcast or whatever.
Oh, okay.
My point being, John Cunningham was non-committal to Jeff Goodman. Guess what? That's John Cunningham. He's not going to tip his hand one way or the other. If you take that as Wes better win today or he's fired, okay, you might end up being right. But I don't think John's tipping his hand to anybody, much less Jeff Goodman.
Why would you at this stage of the game?
Right. You've kept it pretty under wraps to this point. We'll see. Goodman may be right. Like I said, I think it's 60-40. But I'm not expecting, I'm not counting down the minutes until I get the call that Wes is gone. So we'll see. Stay tuned. When it happens, as long as I have a phone, and somebody.
Can I send you my schedule and you pass it on to John so that he knows that if he's going to do something that it would be preferable for him to do it in these certain time blocks?
Can you get a sub for the sub?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're subbing, can you be like, hey, I got to go. Can we get somebody in here for the sub?
Yeah, hopefully not.
Cincinnati's head coach just got fired, and I've got to go do a podcast.
I've got to do. This is very important stuff here. I mean, cannot stress to you enough the level of importance that this is.
Oh boy, 2-hour pod for Dave.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it at all.
Oklahoma State's up 23-16 on TCU, by the way.
That's early.
All right, let's get out of here, man. We got you to 2 hours. We're gonna let you go.
Yeah.
And we really didn't talk about the game at all.
Yeah, we did a little.
A little. Like 5 minutes of the hour and 20 minutes we spent on basketball was about the game.
I mean, that shows you what talking about the 2 minutes of the end of the game. That's how much it was worth talking about.
Thank you guys for being here. Numbers were incredible today. You guys are the best. We'll be live when a decision is made, one way or the other. You can guarantee that. If I'm breathing, we'll be alive. We'll be live when a decision is made. That's going to wrap it up. He's Dave Simone. I'm Chad Brendel. It's the Holy Grail BCJ Podcast right here on BearcatJournal.com.